I think there's kind of a sort of sense of comfort in like turning a camera on and like kind of rambling at it. It's kind of screaming into the void, but then there's someone actually there to listen. It's it's a bit more intimate than say like a social media post or some shit like that. And like, hmm. And like I've noticed that as time goes on, there seems to be a bit more and more of like a popular genre of just like turning on a camera and kind of rambling into it. And I just think it's interesting. I think it's kind of a rebellion against like AI slop and shit like that, where it's like the world has gotten so disconnected and so hard to like communicate with people that it's very difficult to tell like what's fake and what isn't. And I feel like the video ramble is I feel like the video ramble is kind of a healthy way to take that out. It's extraordinarily parasocial, but I mean, isn't everything these days? it's it's a rebellion against sort of modern editing styles and sort of modern ideas on what like a good post is or like what a good thread is or whatever. And I kind of wonder if it's eventually going to result in the death of social media in general. Because, like, eventually, if everything is just bots communicating with bots, like, it's already really fucking lame. It's already really fucking lame. And things just kind of get lamer and lamer by the day. Like, more formulaic, more fake. Like, I found myself, scrolling Reddit or 4chan or whatever, and just like, there's a certain point where you just kind of learn, just like, not even learn, you just like, I just don't give a shit. Like, none of this shit really affects me. None of this shit, I don't feel anything whenever I fucking browse it, whenever I see the fucking 30th oddly satisfying video or whatever. Like, it's just all so formulaic and fake. And like I've been seeing sort of a light return to the sort of early 2000s online culture, early 2010s that like I kind of got a glimpse of. I unfortunately never got to see the whole heyday of that. I was too young, but I I I hope that a lot more people are feeling this too. That it's just kind of it seems like people are kind of going two ways. It's either they're disconnecting or going from like more personalized content like the video ramble, or they're just constantly plugged into the Gooninator 9000 fucking just constantly plugged in, constantly just like scrolling and browsing, and you know, never ever able to take their eyes off for even a minute. Because if you took your eyes off your phone, you would probably be horrified by whatever the fuck you think about. And just yeah, no, I wonder if eventually that's going to result in a larger sort of grassroots social media movement. If we'll see a return to older style internet boards. I mean, that kind of plays into the whole like niche online experience thing. And like I've experienced that a lot whenever I was younger. And I mean, I miss it. I do miss it a lot. I spent a lot of my youth kind of sitting out in like empty parking lots on my phone, like in just kind of random Discord servers. Just kind of random Discord servers and stuff. Talking to random people. Mainly because I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to deal with my parents. And I'm in a better situation now, but like there's a lot of times where like I still miss that a lot. And just it's so hard to get back into it, to like be able to say that like, yes, this is kind of what I want to do. I want to, you know, I'm gonna go talk to strangers today. And I feel like it's kind of because I'm in a better situation now that it's kind of hard to justify it to myself, you know? And I feel like these sorts of grassroots internet experiences, while they're hard to get into, it's absolutely worth the ticket to entry. And I've been seeing a small jump in popularity in it, and just I hope to God it does get better, because I don't think that at its current rate, the internet that we know it as now, as corporatized as it is very sustainable. I don't think that it's necessarily the infrastructure itself will have any problems, or I think it's just a problem with user bases. Like, there's just so much pointless shit. Although I do think that AI is kind of gonna eat itself. There's just no way that it's sustainable. You're having to feed it the entire fucking internet constantly, and it still can't generate like videos that look good. Like, yeah, it can generate convincing text, but what is it? How much more does that shit cost in a fucking Google search? Yeah, it costs. It's nearly 10 times the energy usage of a Google search. Like, they were considering using nuclear plants to like run ChatGPT and shit. And I think it's gonna eat itself. There's no real profit generated by this technology. I mean, there is, obviously, but, like, it has to be corrected often enough that it has very niche uses, and I feel like tech companies have kind of gone all in on it, and they don't really know what to do now that it's turned out to be a lame duck. Like Coca-Cola and TikTok and shit have tried to do like AI generated ads, and they aren't received well. They don't look good. Although I don't think that's going to stop them from continuing to use this technology, even though it's shittier universally than anything else. I mean, when does that ever stop companies? They don't care about the quality of their items. They care about how much money it makes. But I think that what the companies think about it doesn't particularly matter, and that it's so energy inefficient that it's just not doable. It's just not sustainable. And I kind of wonder if, like, the internet's kind of sort of gonna have a crash that, like, the video game industry had back in the fucking whenever ET came out, where it was quality had just gotten so bad on everything, people just left. Is it gonna be the same way for social media? Is it gonna be where it's like it's just like a bunch of gambling addicts and like people with no self-control, and then it's just that, and like there's no one else there? Because I don't necessarily think that's a good enough audience to advertisers to keep up the sort of funding that these websites need to keep their servers running. You know? I mean, like, don't get me wrong. There's a fuckload of money to be had in gambling addicts, but like, I don't mean gambling addicts in like the typical sense. I mean it more in the sense of like dopamine addicts. People who just kind of sit there and scroll all day and all night. And just I don't really think that's a big enough, or I don't really think that's it's not that it's not a big enough audience. It's just that they don't have I'm gonna be real with you. I don't particularly know about that. I don't know about how many people are just kind of subjected to brain rot. I've never really particularly understood it. Like I myself will be 100% honest. I'm absolutely a video game addict, but like I've never really understood just kind of sitting there and scrolling all the time. I think it's weird. Like I don't get anything out of it. I mean, that's the point, is that you don't get anything out of it, I know, but like I'll catch myself scrolling, and like I'll be sitting there, and like there will be times where like, yeah, I'll sit there and doom scroll for like a decent amount of time, and then eventually I'll just kind of come to the realization that it's like this is all just like dumb bullshit. I don't care about any of this. Why should I? What's the point? You know? And just like, I don't know. I think I've been seeing more people come to that conclusion, but I do still think that there is a very strong hold on the populace from like TikTok and shit. I don't know. I'm probably speaking gibberish. This fucking orange soda's fucking full of Everclear, so uh, I'm probably just spouting absolute nonsense. But I mean, isn't that kind of the point of a Ramble video? You're mainly just here for the personal sort of experience of listening to some trans girl talk. But I mean, yeah, it kind of loops back around to my whole point at the beginning. It's that I think it's been getting more popular, and I think that sort of the niche internet is making a comeback, and I don't think that I think it's kind of gonna go one of two ways, or it's gonna be like a mixture of it. Probably a mixture of it, if I had to take a guess where it's gonna be. You're gonna see a fairly large uptick in like niche social media it's kind of like 4chan, stuff like that, videos like this, very personalized content, very person to person, Discord servers, that sort of stuff. And then you're just gonna have the overall like bullshit spewers like TikTok, fucking TikTok, Reddit's a good one. I don't know enough about Facebook to say whether or not it's a good one, but I'd imagine it is. Twitter is a good one though, and just like yeah, I feel like it's kind of gonna be like a two-class system where it's well not two-class, but you kind of get what I mean. It's gonna be two completely different environments depending on which way your personality kind of goes, and whether or not you have like those sorts of addictive or tendencies towards like scrolling. I don't necessarily know if it's like addictive tendencies, but you get what I mean. If you're vulnerable to that sort of algorithm based media, and like fuck man, I wonder how that's just gonna affect the kids. Like I feel sorry for these Gen Alpha kids, man. Like they're growing up in a world where it's like just from day one, just constant exposure to just like the lowest common denominator slop. And like, don't get me wrong, I was a kid once too. Whenever I was a kid, I was a Watch Mojo fan, just like everyone else. But I feel like I don't know what effect it'll have on someone's psyche if that's what they've been exposed to since day one. Like, if that's all they really know is just like AI slop. And I don't know, it's like it might just be me, but I feel like the internet in general has kind of been getting faker and faker. Like even compared to like 4 years ago. So, like even the news articles and shit. Whenever I go browsing online, whenever I go like looking through news articles, it's all kind of the same thing. Like it's weird. It's all like a 2 paragraph article. It's probably AI generated that has like, you know, a full page ad or whatever on it. And Fuck, man, I put too much fucking EverClick in that shit. It's like a 2-page ad or whatever, and like it's 2 or 3 paragraphs, and just it feels like it doesn't exist to tell you the truth or what you want to read. It feels like it exists for advertisers. And just like I wonder what it's like for a lot of people who have never really known an internet that wasn't just advertisers. Like fucking modern ass society, man. Like, okay, hear me out. Like, the fucking just everything these days is the fucking same. Like, everything is. The buildings are designed like the web pages, if that makes any sense. Like the fucking buildings are designed like the web pages. It's all the same, bland, airplane food, advertiser friendly, lowest common denominator, fucking bullshit, and just it's all so fake. I hate it. What the fuck is the term? Not a stress box. What is it? It's all rubber stamp bullshit. I don't know what the actual term I was looking for is, but it's all rubber stamp bullshit. It's all the same fucking shit. It's the food. The food tastes like the web page design, and the web page design looks like the buildings. Everything is just so fucking bland and fake and processed, and it's about to get a lot worse. It's about to get a lot worse with like Trump being in office and shit. And I feel like it's private equity. It's probably private equity, but like everything is just even like houses are all focused on like black colors and black and whites and like sleek design and open floor plans and blah 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 blah. It's focused on resale value rather than like being a livable house. You know, you look at like the fucking fast food restaurants and shit. They all have the same design. It's a big block with like the same interior decoration, very bland, sterile, maybe a little bit of fake wood paneling to give off the impression that it's an upscale place. It's fucking McDonald's or whatever, but it's like it looks like a house does. It doesn't look like a fast food restaurant. If you look at like fast food restaurants in the 90s and shit, they were all so different from one another. And like all the company logos are the same flat bullshit too. And like all the food tastes bland now. I don't know. That's probably just because I'm white and I'm a shit cook. But like going out, all the food tastes bland. It all tastes fake. It's all small. It's all trying to nickel and dime you for every single fucking cent that you're worth. Like, okay, here's the degree that like the nickel and diming is that I've noticed. It's that it's even the ink on the packaging is like being flattened out and simplified to like save on packaging, to save on ink. They can't even spare fucking a couple cents for that shit. They aren't even saving dollars or whatever. They are saving percentages of pennies on this shit. And everything is just so cheap now. It just like, it saddens me. Clothes are the same way too. What I've noticed is that like the only really like good, long lasting, cheap clothes that are still around are like work clothes. Not like clothes meant for style. And like I get it, you know, price, you know, versus quality, etc. But like, the only thing that doesn't fall apart in your hands after one wear is work clothes. And I just, I think it's really poignant about like what the sort of upper class think of the peasants, and how like, yeah, that's the only clothes you're gonna get if you're a poor person, is stuff that looks like shit. I'm gonna go until I start like rambling into other random bullshit. I mean, this entire video has been random bullshit, but like before I start getting into like drunk rambling, because that would be fucking trashy as fuck. So I love all y'all. You know, hearts, kisses, mwah, and like, bye bye.